Alright, we're ready to build the first part of the pirate ship. We're going to start with the base. The base is about 8 foot by 13 feet from end to end. To start, we're going to cut the two 8-foot boards. So grab your 2x6. Mark it at 8 foot. Cut it square. Sometimes lumber from the mill of the store will not be totally square, so you want to make sure and cut both of your ends of lumber to make them good and square. For our 8-foot boards, we're going to go ahead and lay these out on 16-inch centers, and you'll find that in your instructions, your written instructions. Okay, to mark these out on 16-inch centers, go ahead and take your 8-foot boards, make sure they're flush on the end, and put them up next to each other, up on end. You can pull your tape from one end. On your tape measure, you should see a mark every 16 inches. When you find your red mark, you're going to go 3/4 of an inch to the left or right. I'm choosing to go to the left. So you want to make your X right in the center of where your 16 lays. This is how you build decks, how you build a home. This is the standard way of laying out a floor or a wall. You're going to do that all the way down the board. The next red mark you find is 32. I'm going to go 3/4 of an inch past it, put an X on the right, all the way down, so that each of our joists are sitting 16 inches on center. Alright, after we've made our marks on our board all the way down, we go ahead and take a framing square, line it up. You want to draw that line straight across to the other board so that they're basically identical on their markings. Go ahead and put your X all the way down. You want to do the same thing. What this does is it keeps our basic frame of our base square later on when we go to nail the joists in between. Good. Today we're actually building the base of the ship on a trailer because we're going to be transporting the base to another location after we're done here today. For the next step, we're going to cut our floor joist at 71 inches. We're going to do 7 of those. It will be attached with hangers to the 8-foot boards that we've already got cut. Right now I'm going to crown each one of these floor joists. The reason for crowning is that sometimes you'll have a natural dip or a hump in the board. You want to make sure they're all facing the same way, and you always want to face them up. So you're going to look down the edge of it, and you'll see that natural curve, and you want to turn them over the right direction so they're all facing up. And pop these together with a nail gun. We're using the ring shank galvanized nails because this is all treated lumber, and you need to use those galvanized nails with this kind of lumber. So we're going to go ahead and add 3 nails there. A good rule of thumb is for every 2 inches of your lumber, you're going to add 1 nail. So you've got a 2x6. You're going to add 3 nails for that. I'm going to go ahead and pop each one of these in with nails, and then we're going to add screws later on. One thing you can do if you can get this here is you can take your framing square, instead of having to draw lines and keep this board square to your outside rim, take your framing square, you can move this back and forth. You can see right there, and once you get that square with your framing square, you know you're ready to pop it in, and you don't have to fool with drawing a bunch of lines. I'm not going to do anything really funny, you know, or spontaneous, but just so you know. Awesome. One thing to remember when you're putting these joists on, you want to always make sure that you're good and flush. There'll be a tendency to let it drop or to hold it up, but it's pretty important to have those be flush when you nail them in, so that when we put our deck boards on later on, you don't have one of the boards sitting up higher than the other, that it's nice and flat. Alright, we're going to cut the 2 bow joists now. Now they're going to be 67 inches from long to short. And you're going to put your saw on a 30-degree bevel for this. So go ahead and grab your 2x6, bring it to one end, set your saw on 30 degrees, can go ahead and cut. To pull from long to short, you're going to pull from the long point of the angle you just cut and make a mark at 67. It's going to be your short point, your next cut. To cut a board that's long to short 67, you want to go ahead and draw a line all the way across so you can line your blade up. Alright, to get the long to short on this board, you're going to go ahead and flip your board over. You've made your mark at 67 and you're still on 30 degrees on your saw. What you're going to do is let that blade come down, and you want it to end up right at the point of that mark. Okay? That means we rock. You're not willing to pay me enough money to come to your house to do it, so. This video is going to be hilarious, I can already tell. There's going to be so much weird crap inside there. Just roll with it, just go with it. I'll get a little taste of Tennessee language. Alright, now that you've got your 67-inch long to short bow piece cut, you're going to go ahead and put one end of it up against the square part of your box that you've already built. You want to make sure the outside edge of it is flush. And I'm going to go ahead and pop it in there. Kids, do not try this at home. I am a professional.
Isn't the point kind of to try it at home? I'm not sure if that phrase works in this case.
Not for kids though. Kids, make sure your mommy's there with you when you use your nail gun.
Booyah.
Swizzle. And you don't stop.
Hip hop.
There's a little Eminem playing in the background.
Yeah, you didn't get a.
When we edit this, we'll put some Eminem in there. This totally seems like him, does it not?
Oh yeah.
To connect the ends of the bow pieces, you want to basically line up the two tips together. I'm just going to take a scrap piece of 2x6, sort of line it up flush with the front here, and then I'm going to score the bottom from underneath, like that. And you'll go ahead and take that and cut that on your saw.
Yeah.
This is what the front of your bow should look like. We've gone ahead and duplicated that on the bottom to keep it good and square and good and sturdy and strong. You see we've got a flush front here. We've got a flat top ready to have that decking put on top of it. Rock. Alright, to mark out the layouts for your bow, we're going to continue that 16-inch on center. To do that, you want to hook your tape on the end there and just continue running out on your 16-inch red marks on your tape. The same way we did before. We're going to pull 3/4 to the outside, put an X mark. You're going to move your tape over, and wherever that red mark planes out on your slanted bow piece here, you're going to go ahead and do the same thing. We're going to do the same thing on the other side so they match up. Mounted here at Pirate Play Ships. We can do anything that's required to get the job done, including go through tripod legs. We're now ready to attach the joist for the bow here. To find the length, we've got a mark on that side, a mark on this side that should match up. What I'm going to do is just take a scrap 2x6 up on this edge and set it to line up with those two marks. I'm going to score underneath that one and also underneath this one, and that will give me my cut line. Once we've got that piece cut, we're going to slide it in there, make sure it's flush on top, pop it in there. Same as before, you can go ahead and take your square, and once it lines up with the edge of your square, you know you're ready to shoot it in.
Oh man, the whole camera when you shot.
So this is what the base of the ship should look like at this point. You got everything fastened together and you're ready for your deck boards. Before we install the deck boards on our frame, we need to do a few things. One of them is to install the hangers. But before we install hangers, we want to go ahead and sink at least one screw in the end of each of these joists to hold them in. Because when you install your hanger, the action of the hammer will actually knock this band out and you'll end up having a gap between your joist and your outside band. So to avoid that, we want to go ahead and sink some 3-inch screws. I usually just do one, drill a pilot hole and sink one in there all the way around. The next thing we do before we install the deck boards is to make sure this portion of the frame is square with itself. So the way to do that is to hook our tape on the corner and pull it to this corner. You're going to take a diagonal measurement, a diagonal length. In this case I have 121 and 1/8. I'm going to hook my tape on the other corner, pull the other diagonal, and I have 121 and 1/8. So that means that my box is perfectly square and I'm ready to go ahead and install. In the case that it was off, if this were another 1/2 inch, you would have to actually shift the box so that those two measurements were exactly the same. Once they do line up and now the same, you know you're ready to go. Next we're going to install the 2x6 hangers. You're going to use your galvanized hanger nails for this. The way you want to do it, push it up there snug. There's a little starter tab that come in these. Go ahead and sink one in. Make sure it's snug on the bottom. Sink the other one in so it's temporarily on there. You're going to take your nails, fill each hole. This will prevent the floor joist in the future from sagging or pulling apart from the outside rim.
Say I'm just rolling. You say I'm rolling if you want. I'm rolling.
Alright, we're here on site. We've got the ship base laying on the ground here. We're going to first start by putting our grabbing our 14-foot deck board. We want to lay it in the dead center of the base. So to find the center, of course, just take your total width. In this case we have 74, so we're going to be at 37. Make a mark in the center, and we'll center up our board. There's some things I'm not going to be able to. We're going to go ahead and drill pilot holes, and we're going to put 2 screws through the deck board into each joist. be fighting. You need a hot chick? That's scary thought. Almost. But we're not, or I don't know what it is.
It's Jimmy is actually more normal to me, but I was saying it.
What'd you say? This is the point in the movie where.
What is that? That's the problem is sometimes.
You notice on your materials list you have a 10-foot deck board, you have 12-foot deck boards, you have 14-foot deck boards. You can see here we started with the 14-foot in the very middle. There were 2 more 14-footers that we put on either side of it. And then we staggered down to 12-footers, 3 of those on each side. And then you had 10-footers next to it to finish it out. Alright, right now we're just finding the point where we need to chalk our line so we can zip this off with a circular saw. So I just measured here to the nose of the 2x4 or 2x6 frame, and I transferred that up to the top and made a straight line. That way I know where the nose actually is underneath this, where to cut it, and then I can actually see where this planes out, so I can see that it's going to be right about there. We're going to chalk this. Got it? Yep. That's going to be our cut line. Here too. And bring it back over. Let's get this line better. Let's get the cord hook up real fast to you. Right now I'm going to set the depth on my saw. There's usually a little release on the back of your circular saw, and you can set it to just below the depth of your wood there. You'll lock it down. That just makes it so you don't have 2 inches of blade cutting into what's below your deck.
Do you have to talk like a pirate while you're building a pirate ship?
No, you can talk like pretty much anything you want to talk like. I found that out after a few of these. That was good.